Hi, I'm Rob Carson, host of the Blue Team Warrior podcast, and today I've got Jason. How you doing today, Jason?
I'm good, man. Happy Friday. Thank you so much for having me on the podcast. Thrilled to be here and appreciate the opportunity to talk about blue teaming.
Awesome.
My background is in MBR SOC. I've been in the trenches and seen seen way too many more war stories. But yeah, I'd love to dive into a couple of examples with you.
Well, cool. Well, first question, you kind of covered part of it, but who are you? What do you do? How'd you get into this space?
That's a great question. So many people struggle to get into cyber. Like breaking into cyber is a big thing. To be candid, I got lucky. I was in the right time at the right place, picked up the phone at the right moment, and said the right words. I said, I want to do cybersecurity. And so I've benefited pretty much my whole career. And some days, no, most days, no regrets. I'll put it that way.
You can tell you've actually been in this long enough then.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
well, cool. Well, tell me a cool Blue Team Warrior story.
So a good one that I like to reference was in my SOC days. I basically managed a SOC, had a bunch of analysts, a bunch of customers. I worked for MDR space, and this was a phishing. It was a phishing attempt. It was the most convincing phish I've ever seen. What happened is an email thread between individual and his actual business email. They're corresponding back and forth. And about 4 or 5 messages into the thread, we kind of discovered that his inbox was actually compromised. So they took an invoice and basically sent it mid-thread and said, "Hey, I need you to divert payments to this bank account." And luckily, the site that we were using flagged it as malicious. We went in. I almost clicked on it. It was that convincing. It was like the most convincing Microsoft portal you will ever see. And my lead analyst was like, "Hey, this is no joke. We looked up the domain. It was created 2 days ago." And we had to argue with the customer saying we're not releasing this email, literally tooth and nail. So getting like customers to understand the risk and like how we're protecting them can be a challenge. But at the end of the day, we quarantined it, we stopped it, and I'm pretty sure that would have been a nasty compromise that had gone through. So I think that's one of my favorite blue teams because it's trusting your analysts, right? They know best, right? As a director, you have to have trust in your people. Having great technology to back you up, and then having the skills to do the analysis, the investigation to verify that this is, it is a compromised email, it is a malicious domain, and then getting the end user to buy into to understand and showing them like this is what's actually happening helps them kind of understand the risk. What we're doing is protect them at the end of the day. So that's my
Yeah.
favorite blue team story.
No, that's cool because you think about it, like you have technology, but at the end of the day, it's the human being trained. Hey, this isn't something's up here, right? It may not be the human, the humans we want always, but it's somebody's catching it because like it's getting harder and harder these days, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, we were joking earlier, like I missed the Nigerian princes just trying to get their inheritance. Like it was a lot easier back then. Like,
Yep.
yeah. So, well, cool. Well, we got a few minutes left. Like, why don't you tell us a little bit about what you're up to these days?
Yeah, so I'm pretty passionate about phishing, social engineering. The thing that scares me the most is the next generation of phishing attacks, right? I think AI is going to add a layer of depth, and it's going to lower the barrier for people to do phishing emails as well. So deep fake voice cloning, right? Phishing, SMS phishing, you name it. Layered in with AI, I think is going to make it more convincing and much easier to do as well. The other trend that I've seen is using marketing tools to do a lot of these kind of phishing attempts. So using outbound lead generation tools, email, mobile platforms to send mass SMS texts. And I think combined with marketing and AI, and I think that presents a whole next level of danger for an end user at a company, right? Think about your normal end user in marketing, accounting, you name it. Their heads are just not on cybersecurity, and it shouldn't be.
Huh.
They're on their day-to-day jobs,
You
and
you hope they're good at accounting, right? Like
it,
making
it,
sure payroll happens every month. Like, that's important to me.
exactly. Yep. And as cyber professionals, it's our jobs to protect those users and educate them and train them. And I'm working on user awareness training that addresses the threat from artificial intelligence and that is stimulating and engages the user, helps them educate and learn that these threats exist and what they can do to protect themselves. And I'm extremely passionate about protecting the end user and making sure that they are aware of these threats. So that's what I'm
Very
working on
cool.
today.
Well, so cool. Let's go to the last question. Anybody you want to thank or give a shout out to?
To all the SOC folks, to all the analysts, right? The blood of the SOC, those people working that Friday night shift, going into the weekend, y'all are the real heroes. And I want to give a shout out to all of them. Like you guys are so valuable, and at times I feel like the cybersecurity community takes you for granted, right? But analysts are freaking awesome. Huge shout out and thank you for guarding.
Kind of like, no one says thank you for catching this stuff, but they sure let you know when you missed something.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, it's a tough gig. Well, cool. Well, thank you so much for doing this. And for those of you that want to find you or what you're up to, any websites, anything you want to give out?
Yeah, absolutely. So if you're curious about deepfake, voice cloning, social engineering, and kind of user awareness training, check out breacher.ai. We can give you a free demo. You can play around with it. It's super fun. And I'm happy to always jump in a call and kind of show you some of these emerging threats as well. So check it
It's
out.
awesome. Cool. Well, hey, thank you so much for doing this. And for those of you watching, we'll catch you on the next episode.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it. See ya.